OAuth Tools is great for testing different OAuth flows. By default, there's a Curity playground available that can be used to test some of the different flows. In this recording, we're going to take a look at how we can create another environment within OAuth Tools that can use a Curity server that we actually control. We start by going to Environments. This is the playground environment. We're going to create a new environment here, and I'm going to use WebFinger. I have WebFinger enabled in my Curity server. So in here we can enter the URL of my Curity server. And then click Discover. This will then resolve the issuer, metadata URL, and all additional endpoints. As we can see from the URL here, I'm using ngrok. And there's actually a script available here at the bottom of OAuth Tools. If I scroll down, expose Curity locally using ngrok. This is a script that will handle a couple of the settings in the Curity identity server if it's installed locally. If we look in the script itself, here it sets the base URL to the exposed ngrok URL. And a little bit further down in the script, WebFinger is enabled and it sets the protocol to HTTP. This is because ngrok will terminate the SSL, so there's no SSL between ngrok and the local instance of Curity. And with that, we can go back into environments. We can then go into clients and create a new client. This needs to correspond with the client that I have created in the Curity server. I have enabled the code flow on that client, so we'll do the code flow here as well. You can then rename the environment here to Curity demo. We close this, we can now start a flow. And we have all the flows available here, but we'll choose the code flow because that's what we're going to test. I have to switch the environment up here to the Curity demo environment that we just created. And now from the drop-down list, I have the configured www client, and I want the OpenID scope here. I can run the flow, which will then trigger the authenticator that's configured for this client. In our case, it's the HTML form authenticator. I don't have an account, so we can then choose to create an account here and fill out all the information. And then we can return to login. Now I have an account, we can log in. This brings us back to OAuth Tools, where we can now see when we scroll down that we have received an authorization code. We can now redeem this code for tokens, but I can also switch auto redeem code on. And when we redeem the code, we can see we get an access token, a refresh token, and an ID token. So we know our configured client on the Curity side works.